Another turning point, a fork stuck in the road. Time grabs you by the wrist, directs you where to go. So make the best of this test and don't ask why. It's not a question but a lesson learned in time. It's something unpredictable, but in the end is right. I hope you had the time of your life.
Hi everybody, I'm Kelsey.
And I'm Morgan.
And we're here to talk to you today about human development.
In this video, we're going to discuss motivation and development from womb to adulthood.
Over the past several years, school shootings have plagued the US and Canada.
In each case, the killers were boys ranging from ages 6 to 18. Why did these things happen?
Developmental psychologists are looking into how development in one area, such as moral reasoning, plays into development in other areas, such as aggressive behavior.
Maturation is the natural growth or change triggered by biological factors independent of the environment. This was first studied by Arnold Geisel.
Geisel found that the motor skills develop in a fixed sequence of stages in all children, and that the order of their appearance is determined by nature and unaffected by nurture.
However, John Watson disagreed, arguing that the environment, not nature, shaped development. For example, nature influences us to achieve milestones and motor development, but nurture is also necessary for normal maturation to develop.
Secondly, nature and nurture work together to make each person unique.
Prenatal development begins when sperm from a father-to-be fertilizes the egg from a mother-to-be.
Every aspect of your physical being was decided by these guys, like eye color, height, blood type, and the like. Look at them go. My bet's on number 24.
Teratogens are harmful substances such as alcohol and other drugs that can cause birth defects.
One example is fetal alcohol syndrome. Alcohol interferes with an infant's brain development because the placenta cannot screen the toxins.
FAS includes mental retardation and malformation of the face.
The babies of smokers usually suffer from respiratory problems, irritability, and attention problems.
They are also at a greater risk for nicotine addiction in adolescence and adulthood.
Jean Piaget said that the thinking of infants is different from the thinking of children, which in turn is different from that of adolescents.
In other words, children are not just miniature adults, they are not dumber, but just think differently in different stages of development. After 3 months, the infant's senses have matured and they begin to gain voluntary control over their movements.
From 12 to 18 months, the infant can form images of objects and actions in their minds and understand that objects exist without the actual sight of them.
From 18 to 24 months, children use symbols to represent things that are not present in their playing, drawing, and talk. For example, when playing house and pretending to cook imaginary food.
After 4 years, children are able to reason about events by guessing, and after 6 to 7 years can apply logic and recognize the importance of something based on properties such as size or amount.
And after 7 to 8 years, children can remember more and begin learning strategies for memorization.
All cultures establish expectations about gender roles.
The general patterns of work, appearance, and behavior associated with being a man or a woman.
In North America, some roles, such as homemaker or firefighter, have been traditionally tied to gender.
But these traditions are weakening.
From birth to 2 years, infants form an attachment to their primary caregiver and focus more on toys than on peers. At this stage, they are able to respond to the emotional expressions of others.
From 2 to 4 years, children become more dependent, no longer needing their parents' constant attention, and use toys to elicit response from other children. At this stage, they can learn and recognize the emotions of others.
After 4 to 10 years, parents can actively re-socialize with their children, and they begin to cooperate, compete, play games, and form friendships.
At this time, children learn social rules like politeness and roles such as being
Male
or female.
puberty. We all know what it is, but what is its role in our developing minds?
During puberty, sexual interests stirs and there are opportunities to smoke, drink alcohol, and take other drugs.
Adolescents may develop bouts of depression or other psychological problems due to the sudden chemical changes and physical changes that their bodies are undergoing.
Some of the problems appear due to weakening self-esteem or their sense of being worthy, capable, and deserving of respect.
The self-esteem of many teenagers is based primarily on what others think of them.
By age 16, nearly half of North America's youth have had sexual intercourse.
Teens who have sex differ from those who don't in a number of ways.
They hold less conventional attitudes and values, and they are more likely to smoke, drink alcohol, and use other drugs.
They also have more unsupervised time after school and are more likely to have sexually active best friends.
Sexual activity often leads to declining school achievements and interests, STDs, and unwanted pregnancies.
Teenagers have the highest rate of STDs of any age group. Teens most likely to become pregnant are those with little confidence in themselves or their educational futures.
From early adolescence to mid-adulthood, knowledge increases along with the ability to solve problems and moral reasoning.
Some psychological changes include social and emotional changes from a growing sexual awareness, identity crisis accompanying graduation from high school, and in middle adulthood the years are mostly satisfying.
During late adulthood, retirement requires adjustments. People look inwardly at themselves, and the awareness of death precipitates life review. This is usually when comprehension and memory decline.
The awareness of impending death brings about the last psychological crisis. During this stage, people evaluate their lives and accomplishments and see them as meaningful or meaningless. This can lead to feelings of integrity or despair.
They tend to become more philosophical and reflexive and attempt to put their lives into perspective. They may also become more interested in religious and spiritual sides of life.
Facing death with dignity and openness helps people to complete their life cycle with a sense of life's meaningfulness. But most of us want to live as long as possible. Thank you for paying attention, or not.
Yeah, I hope it was more interesting for you to watch us with pictures behind us than for us just talking at you without pictures behind us. Thanks!
Bye. Awareness of impending death brings about the awareness of impending death brings about the last cycle.
Who's the ball?
Alright.
The awareness of impending death brings about the last psychological crisis.
They tend to become more philosophical. Damn it!
Just say philosophical.
Philosophical. They tend to become more philosophical.
What the?
Turn it off!
No, leave it on. Now that the room smells like Morgan's feet, we're gonna get out of here.
You start. You'd be like, thanks for coming in, blah, blah, blah. Who's the philosophical? More philosophical.